Well, on a sadder note at the moment now, I'd like to take a few moments to reflect. It was yesterday with such sadness that I learnt of the passing from this life of a very wonderful friend and a former schoolmate of mine from Morris Brothers, Cogra, and I refer to the late Michael Tynan. Now, that name, of course, needs no introduction from me. If you're listening, you'll know that the Tynan Motor Industry dynasty has more or less dominated the St. George and Sutherland Shire area for many, many years. And wherever you go, there's always a Tynan dealership somewhere, selling all the different makes and brands and models of cars. And God called Michael home from this life in his family home in Sylvania on Tuesday evening. He had been suffering for a long time from cancer, and in the last couple of years he found it difficult to carry on, but nonetheless, being the stronger man that he was, he certainly did do that and lived for his God and his family. And to you, Annette, his loving wife, and his family, I personally, and also all our listeners here at 90.1 NBC FM and all our presenters and people who volunteer here, extend to you our sincere condolences, and we pray that God has now given you a loving husband and father, eternal rest in him in heaven. And we're sure that that's where Michael is at the moment. I don't know how many model cars he'll be trying to buy and sell up there in heaven, but the list will be long, of course, I'm sure. And Michael was one of those men that you just got to know and you got to befriend. And he befriended so many thousands of people over his lifetime. And I'd like to share this special tribute that has been paid to him from the Leader newspaper during yesterday. And it is prepared by a gentleman named Peter Christopher, who was the CEO, or who is the CEO of the St. George and Sutherland Medical Research Foundation and former publisher of the Leader newspaper. And he paid a special tribute to the late Michael Tynan, who passed to God at the age of 80 years of age on Tuesday evening. He writes, Michael Tynan was an entrepreneur, businessman, philanthropist, influencer, and above all, a family man. He was the prototype Shire man, self-made, hard-working, no airs and graces, humble but respected, no pushover. Whether through the car industry or politics, Michael's presence in a room could often be a showstopper. Michael was the type of person who walked into a room and people wanted to gravitate to him. I saw it happen many times. He and his wife Annette would attend an event and very soon they were surrounded. I suspect that a serious history of Sutherland Shire Council would actually be a biography of Michael Tynan. Interestingly, he refused all offers from family and authors to have a book written about him. Michael's successful life and career ran parallel with the rise of the Shire as one of the few nationally identified regions of Australia. He grew from a small businessman to big business through an unrelenting work ethic, a characteristic that defines the new money Sutherland Shire. His prosperity was also the Shire's. But the unique aspect of Michael's life is that he didn't retreat from public life as many others do as their businesses grow. Rather, he gave back. He embraced public life, whether as a councillor, an active church member, a Liberal Party mover and shaker, an NRMA board member, a Calvary Hospital board member, the Motor Trades Association, or a St. George and Sutherland Medical Research Foundation supporter. And through it all, he wore humility as his badge of honour. Michael had the disarming way of taking the limelight away from himself. Giving him a compliment resulted in a hoarse laugh and then deflection to another topic. Michael told me once that he had good luck in his life. I don't think luck had anything to do with it at all. At a time when he was entitled to sit back, relax, and reflect on his successes, he was still extremely busy. It was only recently that he was travelling regularly to Asia on business, checking out the latest on the car industry or sealing deals. And remarkably, it didn't matter where he was, Michael always made time to return calls from anywhere in the world. Michael inculcated a love of community in his business and family. It's part of the Tynan DNA because Michael insisted on it. Michael's impact on politics in the Shire cannot be overstated. And while he would deny being a kingmaker, few decisions were made in the Liberal Party without reference to him. He saw the party as the small business party, and therefore a natural fit with his own experience of life. But for all his public presence, there was one private priority: his family. He delighted in talking about his family and their successes. For outsiders, it was fascinating to see the Tynans in full flight, whether they were Tynans by birth or had married into the family. The Tynan family name is now a national brand or trademark. But to all people who knew Michael, his closing 2 words at the end of any conversation were, "God bless," and it will always be his trademark. So it is fitting now to say in return to you, Michael Tynan, God bless.